Welcome back. We have returned. This is the IRS Radio Hour on AM 560. The Answer.
The Answer.
You're a little slow there, Jimmy. And we are here today to tell you about not our tax problems. I can't tell you about those. Are personal. I don't really have any tax problems except for I pay too much. All of us pay too much in taxes. That's my own opinion.
That's why Tiger Woods left California for Florida.
And he should have. And Lefty wanted to leave California, and everybody was on him. Oh, and it was going to save...
Who's Lefty?
Phil Mickelson. And
That's you guys are good friends? You just call him Lefty?
Everybody calls him Lefty, okay? I was just talking to someone else that shot golf lefty, and I had to tell him. He says, I can never find a lefty golf clubs. I said, they're out there. And then I'll tell you, whenever I see you golfing, I'll tell you the same thing I tell my friend who golfs lefty every time I see him. I tell him, I can tell you what your problem is now. You're on the wrong side of the ball, okay? But anyway, Phil Mickelson was talking about leaving California, and everybody was writing him about this. It was going to save him something like $500,000 a year or more. Think about
millions.
that.
I think it was millions.
Think about that number. Think about that number. How many people he could help with that kind of money? But no, he was being greedy because he was trying to take it away from the California government who would waste it. Because that's what they do with the money. They waste it. Oh, we got to help all these people. You're helping nobody. You're wasting it. You're throwing it down a hole. Anyway, I don't know why.
I get it.
Oh.
I
did that on purpose, folks. That's right.
I guess you could say he's a 5 over par.
I'm witty even when I don't know. But let's go into the blog
segment.
segment.
And he's pulling out of that hole with a bogey. Oof, not a good blog segment.
The blog. The blog.
Hole number 18. Ooh, and Stephen Leahy had a chance to win it, but 2 over par.
So anyway,
he hit the water.
That gets me excied because I just think...
Taxes?
Well, yeah, taxes. I'm a tax guy.
What about payroll taxes? Because, you are a business owner, right?
Yes, that's a very good question, Jim. And I wanted to talk about that today, payroll tax and what we call the cascading tax problem.
Like the detergent?
Yes, cascade. That's right.
It'll clean up your act.
It will clean it. Well, what it will clean out is your bank account because... The cascading tape.
I one time used too much laundry detergent, and it overflowed. And then I put dish soap in the dishwasher. If there was bubbles, I guess they could call me Mr. Bubble.
Okay, I don't know what that had to do with IRS.
I just heard the music, and I just had to come up with something.
It does get you.
What do you want me to do? I got to.
You and Debbie both are very impulsive.
Debbie, gather your things. We're out of here.
Oh, we're leaving.
We're out of here.
See how impulsive they are? I would plan my exit. I would say, here, and I'd write it out. I'm going to go here, then I'm going to go, then I'm going to tell them I'm out of here, and then I'll pick up my stuff and leave. It'll all be scripted out because I plan stuff.
No, you don't,
Danny. Okay, so anyway, I wanted to talk about cascading tax problems. And what this is a problem that there's a couple of different ways that I talk about cascading tax problems. One has to do with payroll tax issues. So here's how it works. I am a business owner. I am to deduct payroll taxes from my employees. So I take out their federal income taxes. I take out their Social Security. I take out their Medicare contribution. And I take it out of their check, and I'm to give it to the government. And I fill out this form, 940 form, 941 forms. And these are like tax returns where I tell the government, this is how much my payroll was. This is how much money I took from them, my employees, and this is how much money I'm giving to you, and I give it to the government. Okay, but if I miss giving it to the government, I'm going to be penalized.
Is it quarterly or is it monthly?
Most are quarterly. Some are monthly, but most people pay quarterly. Bigger companies who have larger amounts of money pay quarterly. There are some that pay weekly because there's a lot of money at stake. Because I've had companies who miss one quarter and now owe several $100,000, right? Because they're big companies. They take a lot of money from their employees.
That would be the time to play Enya.
Yeah.
That would have been the time, right?
I am learning something here today. Enya. I had no idea what that was.
Let's get back on topic.
That's right. It's a cascading tax problem. And what happens when you cascade? It cascades. and it turns into a bigger problem every month.
I was going to pay my taxes, but decided to buy a cheeseburger instead. I'll gladly pay you for a cheeseburger.
Okay, so wimpy. Okay, so anyway, so say I forget I missed my first quarter, but then I pay the second quarter, and then I pay the third quarter. Well, the cascading problem goes like this. The IRS will say you didn't pay the first quarter, and then when you pay the second quarter, they'll use that second quarter to pay the first quarter. So now they'll say you missed the second quarter, so you're going to get a fine on that one. So now you paid the third quarter, and they say no, that third quarter really was the second quarter. So now you haven't paid the third quarter, and now there's a fine on that one.
And there's a fine that
it escalates and it gets out of control, and that's why when people have these payroll tax problems, they're huge. I sound like Donald Trump.
It's huge.
Donald Trump, and I'm sure he's had this problem before in some of his businesses. But they'll go after, this is where we talked about this before, that when you miss these 940, 941 taxes, these are called trust fund taxes because it was never your money, right? It was the money of your employees. And when the government doesn't get it, they don't only go after the business, they go after the business owners. Sometimes they'll go after the accountants. Sometimes they'll just go after the managers. Or sometimes they'll go after everyone because they can go after anyone who they deem a responsible party. Now, you can fight whether you're a responsible party or not, but that takes money and effort, and so you can't just let, and they do throw.
It takes money, effort, and Stephen A. Leahy.
That's correct. We do help people with that, but they throw a wide net because they want to get that money. They don't think it was yours. It wasn't rightfully abscommed. I don't think.
Listen,
can you abscond rightfully? I don't think so.
I don't like you using the term net because dolphins get caught and it offends me.
It's true. I know. And this is how we are in America today. Anything that offends anybody, we have to avoid. So we'll call it I don't know what else. What's an acronym, or is that correct? An acronym for a net. I don't know.
Synonym.
Cinnamon. Oh, cinnamon. Let me in. Okay. Anyway, let's not talk about thesaurus. Okay, let's use or a book that has words that mean the same thing as another word. That's the same thing. Anyway. Anyway, another cascading tax problem, and this happens with a lot of my clients, is right. They are 1099 employees or they have K-1 income, and every year they pay it at the end of the year. Or actually, they find out what they owe in April when they're going to file their tax returns. And then usually what happens is they don't file their tax returns. They ask for an extension, and they extend it to October 15th. And then they work all year to pay that tax. And then the next year comes, and they're worried about paying last year or the year before, so they never pay the tax that's the recent tax. So they're always working about 2 years behind them, and that cascades the problem. Means that your tax problem will never really go away because you're working behind you, and you need a strategy to put this problem behind you. And that's what we help people do, because I see that all the time. So again, there's two types of cascading problems. One I call is the payroll tax issue, and that's where the government penalizes you wrongly and charges you much more than they should have. So in that example I just gave you, maybe you should have had $1,000 penalty, but instead they do a $3,000 penalty or a $4,000 penalty. And so if you just go back and redo the penalties, I can cut it in half or in a quarter and save my clients a lot of money. So this is called the cascading problem. The second one is people who have their personal income taxes, and the cascading problem means it never goes away. And every year you owe more to the IRS, more to the IRS, more to the IRS, and you keep trying to pay last year or 2 years ago taxes instead of focusing on solving your problem. And that's another cascading problem. So both of these things I think are important, and this is where people get caught up, and I think they keep looking to their accountant to help them, and the accountant can't help you with this. They're oftentimes the one that gets you in the problem because they keep telling you, file another extension, you'll be fine. Don't file another extension. Come to see me, and I will help you solve this cascading problem. And you call me at Opem Tax Resolutions at 312-664-6649. Again, that number is 312-664-6649. You can visit us on the web at ChicagoTaxTeam.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Attorney Leahy, for that insight
us.
and information on cascading tax issues. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, if we're not answering any question that you have on this show, just give us a call at 312-664-6649. Now, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned because after the commercial break, more IRS Radio Hour coming at you on AM 560.
The Answer.